Okay, um, this is Unlocking the Matrix, episode 13. It's a very important number. It is unlucky for some, but it's like everything else, it's been twisted to mean something totally different from its original meaning. I cannot claim credit for the making of this video. It's inspired by other videos. Now, everybody from the truth-seeking side will always tell you the truth in that you don't listen to one person. And I've said this before on here. Yes, do listen to what I've got to say, and I thank you if you are willing to give up a bit of your time to do so, because I'm trying to just join the dots. It is so easy to fall for the play out end of things, like getting involved in tackling cancer. It's when you see the bigger picture and see what is the mechanism that is causing all these, rather than dealing with the play out end of things, whether it be yellow vests, Brexit, pro or anti-Trump. They're all distractions because they're all designed to keep you away from looking at what is causing it in the first place. Now, I'm indebted to Santos Bonacci, and I'm going to put the link in the description for this, because if you don't watch any of his other presentations, do watch the one where he shows the knowledge of everything, because that pattern, as he rightly says, is the knowledge of everything. Now, I'm also going to recommend, and I'm going to again put the link to the actual video for Flat Earth British channel Martin Leidtke, because he will show you so much, and it is through watching his presentation that the answers are starting to come. Now, with the dark side and the light side, there is always an equal and opposite. That saying about an equal reaction causes an opposite reaction, the famous Einstein quote, is a prime example of this, because it's truth, but it's been applied to something else. It's so interesting to watch when, on the spiritual side, people will talk about the fact that we're all observers, we're all students, and we're all teachers. Now, few will then go on to consider the questions that come from that. I don't know why, but it's the way it is. People will focus in a particular way. So the teaching is often thought of as teaching people who are not at the same level of knowledge and awareness of things. It doesn't make them any lesser, because the balance between the student and the teacher is equal. The teacher can only teach and learn how the experience of teaching from the response he gets from he or she gets from the students. See, even I fall for it. I said he, where it doesn't apply specifically to men or women. Generally speaking, you will find there are more men involved with the truth-seeking side, the knowledge, whereas the female side of things will be the spiritual, because that's where you get women's intuition from. Between the intuition and the knowledge is wisdom. It's the balance between the two. We need both. There's no two ways about that, and we are both in so many different ways. There are so many ways to explain this. You can see it as being Pinocchio and the conscience, the cricket, Jiminy Cricket, and you can see it as the devil on the other shoulder. They're both talking to you. This is the talking snake in the Garden of Eden. It's not literal. It's not a talking snake, but it's. I can just give you pointers. I'm not going to get involved in great long videos on explaining things, because it is up to you to do the work. It is all about going within and all doing the inner work yourself. And it's no good thinking, right, I've got all the answers, therefore I know everything, because in doing so, you're knowing nothing. It's frustrating when that happens. I'm watching a few on the good side who are falling for these tricks and falling for the ego and things, and it's sad to see, but it can only come from within that person. The annoying thing is when they have the answers and they're telling other people to do the thing and not doing it themselves. I have said before, I am a living Christ. Now, a lot of people will take that as ego, but it's not when you know what it really means. And again, I'm going to say, please do listen to this, then make your own mind up on whether you agree with it, because what I'm telling you about myself applies to you as well. It's not a hierarchical system where I'm better than you or this person is better than another person. It's just different levels of understanding things, and it's looking at these things and finding out for yourselves, listening to a whole range of people and then making your own mind up. It's free flowing. Well, I mean, we are basically water. What is going to or what is going to influence that water are the banks. There's no coincidence in these words either. A lot of the answers can be found in the words, if you know how to understand them. Now, one of the biggest faults with a lot of these things is people make assumptions that you're all at the same level. It's all very well saying a wise man knows nothing, but to someone who doesn't is fresh and new to this, that is going to sound almost like a contradiction in terms. So it does need explaining. It's the spelling of the word, a wise man. It's not wise and as in holding all this knowledge in your head. It is wise in the fact that you can formulate the question to ask why. Why is this happening? Why is it done this way? Why is it done on this date? Why are they using those colours? What, and also the what. The power is in the what, in electricity. What is happening here? So why and what are two very important questions to always be asking. And that is what a wise man is. And it can be a woman. Don't be fooled just because it's a wise man, because a woman is a womb man. Men are just men. We haven't even got a title, because we are, the divine masculine is the supporting role. The knowledge will show the way and shine the light for the female, the divine feminine, the intuition that already knows what is right. So we're just saying, yes, you are right, because we found this, this, this and this. I'm putting myself, because I am in a male body, into that side of things, just to present this. But we all have the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Don't be fooled into thinking just because you're in a male body you only have the male side. It's what you allow yourself, what you can get your head round, the limits of your imagination. Now, that doesn't mean physically your skull is going to expand, because we are dealing with something that does not have a physical form, and this is where a lot of this is happening. The spiritual war is a war in energy more than in the physical realms. I have to borrow the analogy that Santos so brilliantly puts. A surgeon can open you up, but the emotions that you feel and what you are thinking, the surgeon cannot find, because they do not have a physical attachment to them. But they are definitely very real, as you will know yourself from what you feel and what you think. What you think is real in your mind. But it cannot be found with a scalpel. So there's a huge mass deception going on. Now, there's been a lot of Facebook posts and YouTube videos showing celebrities of today and what looks to be almost their twin in 19th century early black and white photographs. Like I said at the start of this, there is always an equal and an opposite. We are carbon life forms in a carbon copy world of perfection. we have very curtailed lifespans to what our full potential would allow us to have, and we would have the choice when we have had enough, but that choice has been taken away from us, because where this deception first started was because the beings that are now classed as the fallen, because the stories are always twisted, where they have fallen is because they did not have the knowledge to protect themselves, and they came from a position of benevolence. In today's world, you see this: if you are a good person, you will attract an energy vampire towards you who will drain you, because you do not have the knowledge to recognize an energy vampire. That comes with experience of going through it. This is why most of you that I've spoken to have come across energy vampires at one time in your life or another. It's because it is all experience to show you, and it's what you learn from those experiences when you look at the bigger picture of what was happening there, and don't take it personally, but treat it as an experience to learn from. That's when the empowerment will come, and you will spot another energy vampire and you will not be caught again. It's no different from if you're being scammed and you do the same things, you don't learn the lessons, you don't see the telltale signs, and of course it's going to happen again and again and again until you do. It's no different from if you're walking through a low door frame. You're going to keep banging your head until you learn to duck. I can't put it in a more simpler analogy than that, really. That is how it is, and for every level, be it this physical world, the world of the mind, or the world of the heart, there is always a play out and an equivalent in each of these realms. It's funny that there's three. The numerology, that is another thing worth looking at. But the true number is actually 13. It's unlucky for some. Yes, the some are SUM, the sum of 9, that is keeping this perpetual cycle going. See, you have been in lives before, and you will continue to keep coming back into new lives, because the dark side have found another way of doing this. When you see all these Facebook posts and all these things showing things that look so incredible, it's like, are they looking into the future? That person looks identical to that person in the past. That's because they have a way of using these human shells as suits in the same way that anybody would change clothes. You cannot have someone looking like Donald Trump in, say, 1840 who is still alive today. That would be way too suspicious. These suits are stored and brought back. This is where this child sacrificing comes into it. Because it is based on a lie, it is like any lie, it has to be continually fed to keep it going. And this is why all these things don't seem to make sense. They are not meant to make sense. You can sum most of this up as a bypass blueprint plan. When you look at it, it looks an absolute nightmare. There is no way to please everybody because it is not designed to. It is deliberately vague. There will always be those who have their own interests and this not in my backyard mindset, who will oppose the bypass coming through their land but are quite happy for it to affect somebody else. That is the self-serving, and this is the blueprint with everything, the way it is being used against us, because it is always about divide and conquer. While we vote, we are empowering. When it talks about humanity is the cause of all the problems, in some ways, yes, that is true. Because of this deception that is played on us, we do all fall for things when we take sides. It's when we stand back and see the bigger picture to this whole mechanism, and why you have this illusion of choices. When you are putting your cross in that ballot box, it is you that is being crossed, because you are saying you are happy with this system to carry on. It is the criminals who are making the laws. It is to protect them. It is not to protect you or I. They don't give a damn, and you will see from the actions of all these governments the same thing. You'll notice as well when something is tried and tested and proven, say with a plastics problem in one country, it is not taken on by every other country, because it's all to create this illusion and create this conflict and keeping everybody divided against each other. There is a human race. It is not a race against each other. It is a race to find the way out of this. You are not in competition with each other. Things are going to start happening very soon, and those of you that have any sort of awareness, and from those of you I've already spoken to, are fully aware of this. Now, I don't want you to worry. It is so easy to start falling for doubt and fear when there is absolutely no need for it. This is actually something really good that is happening, and is something we should be celebrating, but it's so easy to start looking on the negative side. There was all this talk about Mercury retrograde and all this panic about that, but there is always a positive to these things, and there is always a reason for these things happening. I can only just show you the brief outlines. I don't have the technical skill with computers to make great long videos, and it's like anything. Food for thought is just like food for the physical body. It needs to be digested in small chunks. I would say if you do get a long presentation to watch of maybe over an hour, then just press the pause button. Let it digest what feels right for you and what doesn't. And then maybe take in a bit more and see how that feels. And very soon what you'll find is the truth will always stand up to questions. All the bits will actually fit together. So when I saw this presentation from the Flat Earth British channel with Martin, he showed what looks like a pyramid. It's actually a bunker, but the internal chambers replicated exactly the same as the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's just a miniature copy of the same thing. There is a whole world with this free energy, and yes, we should have free energy. It's the magnetic fields of Earth. This has been used as suppressed knowledge by the dark side, but it's something that we should all have, and it is something that is coming back just as it was done in the past. It was reverse engineered and was shown to work. It will happen again. We're coming into a new age where all this will happen. People will quite easily hear the word apocalypse and see disaster and devastation and destruction, but they don't sit and analyse the word and hear the sound. It's an epoch collapse. All it means, it's an end of an age. Yes, you have to have destruction before you can have new beginnings. That is a natural cycle of time, and we are in the realms of time. This is a physical world. What else do you expect? But that is only because we've fallen for the deception to think we are just flesh and blood. We are far more than that, and this is what they've kept hidden from us. You are all gods and goddesses. It's just you do not acknowledge it in yourself, partly because of this deception. You've got to go inside yourself first. I've done this, and I know I've been a fool. I fell for so many things. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not fearful of what anybody thinks of what I'm saying here, because I don't have the fear of that. I am sovereign to myself. That is all you've got to do. It's not about going out there and trying to change the world, getting yourself on a pedestal, getting a following, because you're also making yourself a target by doing that. You're not actually going to achieve anything. You may get to a certain point with it. Then you're also leaving yourself wide open to be accused of being controlled opposition as well. There's another aspect to it, because always watch for that third hidden hand in all these things, because it's always in threes. But the answers are always about mutual cooperation and collective abilities and things, and pooling resources, and it is all about coming together. Not one of us can hold all the pieces. I certainly don't. I'm missing loads of it. I don't go deep into these things. I stand back and try and look at the bigger picture. But in doing so, you save yourself a lot of hard work, and you're just going over a lot of what other people have said. But you've got to get that balance between listening to what they say and doing the work for yourself as well, spiritually, and the knowledge, how so things make sense to you. Because when things make sense, you are no longer in fear of the unknown, you feel balanced inside. Likewise, it's not all about sitting on a keyboard all day and trying to spread a message or making these videos. It is getting about getting out in nature and feeling it, because that is where the true sight is, and where the true knowledge and the true brain are. It is always in the heart of the matter. And what are we? We are physical matter, and we have a heart right in the centre. So the third eye, the mind's eye, is just the eye, the all-seeing eye of the heart, because we're all fractalized parts of something anyway. That's where the Big Bang Theory comes from. We are all the eyes. We don't need security cameras and things and spies to do it for us, because we are all part of something that is source of everything. And that's where we are the teachers as much as anything else. We're not just teaching it's not exactly teaching, we're just pointing ways to help other people on their spiritual path and finding themselves and finding their true power and finding their true destiny. But we're also teaching through experience, this original source. It's always two-way traffic. We are the observers. That's where we are the all-seeing eyes. We are all the students, because we're all learning from this experience, and we are all teaching from this experience. So even when things seem bad that may have happened to you, like going through anxiety and depression, it is empowering when you come out the other side, because it gives you the empathy to help other people. And this is what this whole thing is always been about. And we can break this cycle. There is something else you'll see as well. Another mass deception is to, steer away from, don't look at that, it's evil. Well, look at what happens when you turn these electrical devices on. When you first look at them, they are black screens, because the darkness always comes before the light. The seed will not grow until you plant it in the soil, in darkness, and then it finds the light. When the Pope is elected, the smoke changes from black to white. What exactly causes that black smoke? I have a very unpleasant feeling about it. That's all I'm going to say on that, because I don't want this to be a negative post and presentation. I want to keep this, I want you to keep you positive. So what is going to come within this next week is actually something really, really good. So I'm sure you'll all start feeling this positive energy, even if it looks like it is something bad. If you start going along with that idea, which is also being pushed with all the news and all the doom and gloom, all the negative feelings, then you're starting to be dragged down. It will lower your vibration. You won't feel so good about things, because you're allowing doubt and fear to creep in. All you've got to do is build up this personal space around yourself, which everybody feels. You get that feeling when somebody is standing too close and they're in your personal space. Well, that is your magnetic energy that radiates out from your heart. You can't see it, but you can feel it. Same as if you walk into a room where there's been an argument, you feel that atmosphere. It's atmosphere, because it's a horrible dark energy. People are uncomfortable. Two people have argued and they've stopped arguing, but there's the tension in the air, and you just walk in that room, you know it's there. There's nothing physical that you can see, but I'm sure you all know that experience. I'm just using these day-to-day analogies to make it as easy as possible, because it's not meant to be hidden. It's not meant to be a secretive code. It's meant to be open. This is what the Palm Sunday was all about. The palm is open. It's not a hidden hand, because on the palms of your hand you have the left behind and the right future. They are like the tree rings. They're individual to everybody. You can actually see where your life is going in your hands. It is all in your hands. It is right in front of you. It is within you. You just need to find it. I'm just trying to help you to find it. So thank you. If you've listened all this way, thank you very much.